Hey everybody, good morning. It's a happy day here. It's Wednesday. It is the 28th of October. It is about 10 minutes before the open, and I'm gonna get right into it here. And yeah, this is pretty amazing here. So before I get into the charts, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and this is always just my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and pop into the charts and take a look at things. I'm going to start with ES. I'm going to move to NQ. I'm going to take a look at that QQQ short, and I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin. All right, so let's pop in here and take a look at things. So we were talking about buy zone down here at 332, 333. 331.75 or so. We're at 333.15 at the moment. We're tagging this median. I want to go down to a 5-minute chart here and just take a look at where we are, where we're currently, kind of poking our nose. We're poking our nose right here at this median. Um, Honestly, this dip could dip a little bit lower. It may come down here to test this invalidation zone, but this is a good place, in my opinion, to be layering for buys. All right. So yesterday I was talking about shorts. I even made a whole video about shorting the 50, right? Targeting the 236. That was at 333. And obviously we're going to be opening today lower than that. So that, man, that was crazy. That was crazy. But if you're on the Discord, you know that I exited that trade. I exited that trade, right before the close because I didn't want to hold it overnight because it could just as easily have moved up than, of course, with the way that it did go, which was down, which is where I expected it to go. I just didn't want to hold it overnight. Hey, Kyle, how are you doing? But here we are now. We're down here, and I'm going to take a look at NQ as well. We have a very similar trade down here. We had a hard time counting this guy right here, but again, we moved up here to the 786, right? So we've got, let me go down to a 15-minute chart here. We were talking about shorting the 786 and pulling it all the way down here to 11,262. So NASDAQ has been stronger than ES, and it historically has been. There have been moments where NASDAQ is not as strong as the S&P, but currently NASDAQ is a little bit stronger. I still expect this guy to come down here. Now the S&P, man, it's hard because I really think NASDAQ's going to pull a little bit deeper. I really think NASDAQ's going to pull deeper. But at the same time, it's really hard to judge if S&P is going to go deeper. I think NASDAQ goes deeper. I don't know what S&P is going to do. Excuse me. One way or another, I think that we are getting close to bottoming on this move, on this correction, right? So what we've been talking about here is, let me just kind of do this. I have made a correction to my count in case you haven't noticed, where I've got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, and then you can do a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 1, right? I think this is just wave 1 here. We came back, we're coming back to the median. I think we're probably going to find ourselves down here. And honestly, it's got to happen today. And I have reason for saying that this is going to happen today. I'm gonna talk through that reasoning here in just a moment. But let me pull this up here, get this ready. I think that this is a good area to buy. Now, I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin here in a little bit, but what I'm going to take a look at is the open interest and max pain on SPY, because this is important. Okay, so let me get this up here. I'm going to take a look at max pain for today, which is an expiration. Not a whole lot of open interest, about 400,000 contracts. But Friday, there's 1.6 million contracts of open interest. So this has me very, very interested in where things are going to go. So I'm going to move myself back to the ES chart because this is pretty darn important if you ask me. So let's just take a look at this. Open interest, the volume yesterday was quite high for today's expiration on SPY. 59% was bearish, 40% was bullish. It currently looks as though the max pain is $340, which is kind of the equivalent of 3,400. That's going to be right around here where we opened yesterday, right? So max pain for today's expiration is going to be somewhere in this range. Okay, are we going to bounce here? I expected us to bounce here, and I am going to take a trade that is going to be on a bullish directional bias. But let's also take a look at Friday. What is Friday's max pain? Friday's max pain is 343. That is basically right here. Okay, max pain for the next two expirations. You know, again, kind of looking up, down, up. Are we going to find ourselves up here a little bit higher than close at that 344, 343? You know, maybe we'll have to see. I'm going to remove this little arrow because this has already happened. We've already found ourselves down here. Now, are we going to immediately bounce and go crazy high? I doubt it. My opinion, what's probably going to happen at the open, which is in 6 minutes, we're going to see a thrust down, probably to raid these lows. And again, let me go down to a 5-minute chart here. Probably are going to find ourselves raiding these lows over here, and then we move up. So basically, I move in the opposite direction to catch stops and to fill bags, and then we move up from there. You know, this looks pretty good on a 5-minute chart. Let's just take a look at this here. I try not to analyze this, but what I can see here is we have an A, B, C into the A, B, C. We have a correction there. Then what do we have? You know, I can count this. I can count this pretty easily here. From up here, we've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we have a long extended fifth. And in this fifth wave, you can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think this is pretty close to the bottom. I think it's going to push a little bit lower. Stop loss on this, you know, we were talking about this trade the other day. What is our risk to reward ratio? 10 to 1, right? Your stop loss, I mean, at this point, your stop loss, because we are opening down here, right? So now your stop loss is 0.5%. I mean, you got to take that trade. You got to take that trade because that increases your risk to reward 17, 18 to 1. All right, where are we looking to target this? Well, if I'm right, this guy, this little guy that we call the ES, aka SPY, you know, you're still looking at a potential almost 10% move to the upside. I mean, this is taking us to new highs, if I'm right. I mean, it's a big if, but it's a risk that you have to take. Now, am I going to take options on this? No. I'm probably going to get into some kind of a like a bull asset. I'm a fan of those if you haven't already noticed. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. It seems like a decent trade here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Bitcoin is doing. I'm going to pull up an interesting chart here in Bitcoin that I don't usually pull up on these video streams. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin on the 1-minute chart across multiple exchanges. Because I'm interested in what is driving the price, right? We are down at 13,283 when we almost hit 14K yesterday. Now, do I think that Bitcoin is done here? Well, if I move to a 30-minute chart, let's just take a look at this. All right, so we had our first sell-off back here, and this was at about the 3 o'clock hour, which is pretty common. We see I think that's when the Asia markets either open or close. You know, it's a major pivotal moment in the Asian markets, and this is where we had our first sell-off, and then of course we have been selling off ever since. And on the 30-minute chart, we are testing this moving average, which I believe is the 200. Let me just double check on this. This is the 250. The 250 on the 30-minute chart we have tested. We tested that pretty well. Now let's go to an hourly. Let's take a look at what's happening on the hourly here. And I believe the 250 is probably way, way down here. So it's still possible that we do find ourselves going deeper. I'm taking a look at this on the hourly. You can see a nice correction, A, B, C right here. Then we have our last move up, and now we're starting to correct. Where are we going to go from here? Well, that is anybody's guess, but we were talking about this yesterday as well. I believe we were talking about this, potentially topping out, which I believe we have currently topped out. Finishing wave 3. Let's pull this guy up here. Let's now make a prediction. Oh man, this looks even better now than it did yesterday. So if that was the top, this guy is going to do an ABC correction, right? So we're going to get some bounces here. I mean, I would expect there to be some kind of support there, an A, a B, and then I believe this wave 4 is going to come. It may not go this low. It may stop at 12,950, 13,000. It may stop there. But ideally, we would get a move back to 12,411.85. Now, are stocks and Bitcoin correlated at this point? They really haven't been here recently. The stock market in general, has been in a correctional phase for the last almost 2 months, since September the 1st, September the 2nd, since Labor Day. The stock market has been in a correction phase. I think that Bitcoin is probably going to enter a little bit of a correction phase. I think that it's very, very reasonable to say that this is the count from the bottom, where we have a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into this 1. Let's go ahead and throw this in here. All right, so I'm thinking 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to get into the subdivision there, but I think that's the completion of that move, the completion of that one. So let's go ahead and get the coloring identical. So we have our lower subdivision in red, our white showing this guy, and then from up here at 1, A, B, C into this. There's the market open. I'm going to kind of clean this guy off here just a little bit because I think what happened down here, we had a nice 5, 3, and then 5 waves down to finish that move. So I think we have the completion of wave 2 here. One way or another, this could be the 2 down here, and then we've got a 1 ABC into the 2, and then we have this, moving up to finish our wave 3. We go down for wave 4, and then we eventually find our way moving up to wave 5, which again, I'm still looking at this guy moving up to 15,375 before we move down some more. And then again, we take that last and final move up to maybe 17,000. I don't think we see all-time highs, but we'll continue to monitor this as we go. So I think this is where I'm going to end the video for today. I've got to get back into the market. It is now 9:30 in the morning. So we got lots going on in the market, lots of downward movement. But let's go ahead and just keep an eye on this guy right here, because this is really, we're going to be looking for a move up today. So that's what I'm looking at for the day. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, of course, as you know, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you want access to our Discord, just throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.